Thomas Aquinas onwards, Aristotle becomes very prominent in their discussions and learnings. And by the time Renaissance is happening, during those centuries, in that period, there is a renewed interest in the text available. So, in Latin and Greek, there are so many texts available, but they are not much studied. As for example, Poetics was available to them, but they never read it. It was dumped in the corner. Nobody looked at it. But at this point, there is a renewed interest in learning that. And when they read that, they understood the translations are not very good. In the sense, sometimes it is too technical. Avoiding the technical terms and all, they renewed the translations. And it was made more accessible to people. If it is too technical, it will be very difficult to understand. They avoided that kind of technicalities and they made it more simple and accessible to people. So those who want to learn, they can read it easily and understand. And they also reinterpreted. So they updated the existing translation. In order to update the translation, many of them had to read it in the original Greek text. So when they read the Greek text, they were able to analyze those texts and also to give new interpretations to that. So it became more and more clear. The text became more and more clear and accessible to people. During that time, there was an improved access to the previously unknown literature from the ancient Greece and Rome. And this is a very important aspect of Renaissance philosophy. But with regard to Aristotle, many of his texts were already available, long ago translated into Latin, but little studied. But when they started to study these texts, there was a novel approach. The humanists of that period, the humanist thinkers of Renaissance period, they spent a considerable time and energy in order to make the Aristotelian text more clear and precise and also accessible. When I say accessible, means there may be a text with you, but even while reading, if you don't understand it, that thought is not accessible to you. So the Aristotelian text was made more clear, more precise and accessible. So that took a new approach. But that new approach was they wanted to accommodate other streams of thought. Earlier there was only Aristotelian thought there, but now they studied other thoughts also. So they wanted to reconcile these streams of thought or to accommodate these different streams of thought. For example, Christianity or the Epicureanism or Stoicism. So they wanted to accommodate or find a synthesis between all these different streams of philosophy. And they also use philological techniques. Philological technique means philology is a branch of study, a branch of knowledge that deals with the structure and historical development and relationship between language or languages. So that kind of methods are applied in order to learn the text better. So I will be showing you a few names. These are some of the scholars during the Renaissance period who were considered as Aristotelians, who devoted their time and energy to learn Aristotle. So Alexander of Aphrodisias, Themistius, Ammonius, Philoponus, Simplicius, and there are some other Greek commentators. You have to remember the name of Averroes. When you learn the reasons for Renaissance, you read something like Andalusian scholarship. So he is an Arabic scholar on Aristotle. He is the Arabic commentator of Aristotle. The people of the Renaissance, initially the Aristotelian thinkers during the Renaissance, they initially considered Averroes as the key to understand the mind of Aristotle. So that is the reason why Averroes is important. And Paul of Venice, he is considered as the founding figure of Renaissance Averroism. So there was, like we say Aristotelianism today, there was Averroism, the study of Averroes. So he is considered as the founder of Renaissance Averroism, Paul of Venice. And there are scholars like Alessandro Accillini, Elijah del Medico, and other important guys are Nicoletto Vernia and Agostino Nifo. They actually started their philosophizing or their learning. Nicoletto Vernia and Agostino Nifo, they were defenders of Averroes theory. Especially there is a theory about the unity of the intellect. So they were like loyal followers of Averroes, and they learned Averroes in order to understand Aristotle. So later they became very critical or very analytical about Averroes, and towards the end of their career they attacked Averroes for the misleading interpretations given by Averroes about Aristotle. They attacked Averroes as a misleading interpreter of Aristotle. And there is Pietro Pomponazzi and Jacopo Sabarella. With the Aristotelian philosophy at their hand now, they read it, they understood it, and they found certain problems when they wanted to connect with their own culture and times. So they tried to give new solutions to the Aristotelian problems, and there were wide varieties of interpretation. There was a wide variety of interpretations of Aristotle during the Renaissance period from these scholars.